Hi, it's Carrie. If you watched my video a couple weeks ago, I built a search filter for behavior using a MeSH term and keywords. But what I didn't show you was what happens when you explode versus no explode and how you should handle that. So in this 5-Minute Friday, I'm going to talk about what you do with terms that explode versus do not explode when you're building a comprehensive search. And this is for the purposes of being reproducible and transparent, but also mainly for the purpose of translating to other databases. Let's go to PubMed and let's go into the MeSH database. And I'll show you what I did, I think 2 weeks ago. I built a search concept for behavior, and I was talking about British versus American English. So let's just go ahead and do what I had done before. So I included the British English spelling and the American English spelling and a truncation symbol to return behavior. Behavior is behavioral, and we're including the medical subject heading here of behavior. We'll search PubMed, and we get 3.3 million. So let's go back. And I want to point out now that there are so many terms that are narrower than behavior. And it's pretty ambiguous too. It's lots of different kinds of behavior, from self-injury to information seeking to feeding behavior and bad habits. I mean, if there were a narrower term here that you were really interested in, I would probably recommend just using that term and not using the broader behavior term. But let's kind of look at the difference. And every time you see a plus sign, that means there are more terms below it. So let's look at deception, for example. Deception also has some additional entry terms, has a C also, and under deception they've put disinformation. So you have to keep in mind this hierarchy when you're searching. So let's go back. And now let's say, okay, well, we're not really interested in all these kinds of behaviors, just behavior in general. How should we handle that? We should probably do not include MeSH terms found below this term in the MeSH hierarchy. So we'll do that. Now we'll add to Search Builder, and we'll continue with our keywords the same way, because we want literature that might say behavior. And so now it's not capturing these terms below it. Before it was. We'll click Search PubMed and we get 2.1 million. So what's the difference? And I've done some different searches today, so let's just look. 3.3 when I let it explode to all the terms below it. 2.1 million when I don't let it explode to all the terms below it. So if you were building a search concept, let's go back one more time. What I would recommend in this case would be to pick something narrower. So let's say paranoid behavior. We wouldn't include just the word behavior here. We would probably do something like this. Are there terms below this? No, this is the narrowest term on the hierarchy. And then we will just say paranoid. I guess we'll do paranoids, although it doesn't feel great. We'll do paranoia. We could have truncated here. We'll do paranoias. There are probably variations. We'll see. Let's just test it and see. See, searching is labor, y'all. 14,455. 14,415. What if I just did this? $14,510. So clearly there are some terms that aren't paranoid, paranoia, and they're variations of spelling. And now we're seeing it's coming back. So anyway, that's kind of going down the rabbit hole, but the point was going back to the big MeSH term when you see a medical subject heading like this, and this happens with, I think, operative procedures and some other ones, go for the narrowest term that is relevant to your topic. And I would not use the broadest term here. I would narrow it down because you don't want all these, and it's going to be, well, there's going to be a lot of noise in your search, which is to say you're going to get back a lot of results that may not have anything to do with what you're actually looking at. And another main point to consider, as I said in the beginning, this is for translation purposes as well, because however you search PubMed is then how you're going to search whichever other databases you've chosen to search, so Embase, CINAHL, and they use different subject headings. They won't have MeSH terms, they have their own subject headings and their own hierarchy. And so the way that this maps here is not going to be the way that it maps in those other databases. And sometimes you'll run into those databases don't have subject headings, or they don't have this term in their subject heading database. In that case, you need to make sure that you're including those keywords too. So remember how I had paranoia, and truncated it to include additional keywords. That's going to make sure that when you translate it to other databases, you're getting the results that you should be getting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.